Hi, my name is Jennifer Roth and I teach link programs for the Girl Scouts. Some of you may recognize me from my gingerbread, crochet, jewelry, and watercolor classes. Today I'd like to show you how to make Navajo Flatbread. It's an easy bread to make using ingredients you probably have in your pantry right now. It doesn't use any yeast, so it's pretty quick to make too. Before we start, let's gather our ingredients. You'll need all-purpose flour, baking powder, salt, canola oil, and some lukewarm water. Let's get started. We're ready to mix our dough. 2 cups all-purpose flour, 1 tablespoon baking powder, 1 teaspoon salt. Mix your dry ingredients together to incorporate. Then add 2 teaspoons canola oil. You can also use any vegetable oil will work. I measured out 1 1/4 cups of lukewarm water. We're going to add most of it, reserving a little bit, and we're going to mix this together. We're trying to make the consistency of a tacky pizza dough. This looks a little dry to me, so I'm going to add a little more water. If you've added too much water or your dough is too wet, don't worry. All you have to do is add more flour to fix it. Once your dough is holding together, it's time to knead. Sprinkle some flour on your surface and take the dough out from the bowl, scraping it as clean as possible. You can use your hands or a dough scraper to cover your dough in flour and start kneading. To knead your dough, you're going to fold it and push gently, making sure that you have flour on your hands so that it doesn't stick. As soon as the dough starts to stick on your hands, you want to put some more flour on. So you fold, push, and turn. Fold, push, and turn. If any of you have baked bread before, it's a very similar technique. And we're just doing this to make our dough come together into a nice smooth ball. You only need to do it for a minute or so. And once your dough looks nice and smooth like this, then you're going to take your bowl and add a little bit of your canola oil. Use a paper towel to wipe it all around the bowl. This is just to keep your dough from sticking to the bowl. And we're going to roll the dough so that it gets covered in the oil. And now we're going to let this sit and rest for 30 to 60 minutes. The dough has been resting for 45 minutes. I covered it with plastic to keep it from drying out, but now we're ready to roll out our dough. Take it out of the bowl and using floured hands, form this into a log. That way we can use our dough scraper to cut it into 6 even portions. Now with each of these portions, make it into a little round piece that we can roll out. do that with all 6. To roll out our dough, we're going to flour our surface and our dough, and then we're going to roll it out nice and thin, like a tortilla. If you don't have a rolling pin, you can use a wine bottle. You can even just press it out too. Once you have it rolled out, I want you to take a pan with a piece of parchment paper, or wax paper will work too, and put a little flour on it and put your dough on. Put another sheet on top and roll out your next piece of dough. Do this with all 6 pieces, and then we're ready to cook our bread. I have a cast iron pan here, preheating to about 350 degrees. I have it on medium-low, but it will depend on your cooktop and which pan you're using. Feel free to use a non-stick pan, will work just as well here. My pan is nice and hot. I'm adding about a tablespoon of canola oil. I add my rolled out flatbread dough, and each side will take about 45 seconds to 1 minute to cook. You'll know it's ready to flip over when you see some brown spots. This bread is delicious just with some butter and powdered sugar when it's hot, or you can use it for sandwiches or even personal pizzas. Now cook the rest of your dough and you'll have a nice batch of flatbread to enjoy with your family. This flatbread will keep for 2 to 3 days at room temperature, or you can freeze it for longer storage. Enjoy!